Meet Damien Chambers, the CEO of NewGen Families. Damien, welcome.
Thank you. G'day, everyone.
So, today, he is not from here. Damien, I'd love for you to share the events that led up to your wanting to start your own surrogacy agency on the other side of the globe from where you live. So, do you want to share that now?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a gay dad via surrogacy, and I was one of the very lucky intended fathers that had a really smooth journey. And I think what resonated with me was the fact that there were all of these key service providers that were so passionate about wanting me to have a child, and that resonated with me. So I did a bit of a quick career change, and I'd had successful exits in other businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. And I thought I just need to work in the surrogacy space. And so I did work for another agency for a few years as the Australian sort of representative. And I don't know, I just trusted my gut. And I'm not sure if people out there know, but we have some very harsh legislation in Australia in three places, basically in New South Wales, where Sydney is, and Queensland, where Brisbane is, and another territory called the Australian Capital Territory. And it's even illegal for these residents to enter into an international commercial surrogacy arrangement. It's from a law that was passed in 2010. And so I got some legal advice when I was thinking of going out on my own and setting up an agency. And, my attorneys basically said, you need to go overseas and go to the States. So that's what I did. I moved here 3 years ago, and haven't turned back. And I've had such a great time in setting up the agency and facilitating journeys, not just for Australians, but for, I think we're represented by, I think we have 20 different countries now,
Wow.
intended parents from 20 different countries that are represented here at NewGen Families. So yeah, it's been a journey, but no regrets. It's been an amazing experience.
And prior to this, did you ever have the travel bug? Did you think, oh, I'm going to move to somewhere else in the
No,
world?
look, I was lucky in my youth. In my 20s, I spent 12 years in Holland, Switzerland, and Germany. And so I thought that I'd had that travel bug out. But
Right.
I think, at the beginning of the pandemic, I think everybody sort of changed their viewpoint on, sort of, well, what do I want to do with my life? And we were all asking those questions because I suppose we had a lot of time. And that was one thing. My son was at a daycare center on the beach in Australia. And I remember just sort of doing my beach walk going, is this it? Like I had established such a routine, and I was 48 years young and thinking, I think I might have one more innings. And so yeah, I just took
Wow.
a leap of faith, did my due diligence, and thought, you know what, I think there is definitely a space for myself and the team that I build to create a beautiful agency here in America.
That's awesome. So you mentioned you're single and you went through your surrogacy journey as a single man. I'm curious, what special advice do you offer single guys that you work with who come to speak with you?
Oh, look, first of all, to say that you're not on your own, there are plenty of single intended fathers and intended mothers doing surrogacy these days. So it's, yes, whilst it might seem overwhelming, there are plenty of people doing it. So there's a lot of online resources for that. But I think the biggest advice is just, trust yourself. And love might come later. I've recently maybe started dating, and I think that that's a really important thing, that you can find love later. And it was actually a single intended father in Australia that inspired me to go down that path, because he'd had a successful journey, and then he fell in love when his beautiful daughter was 2 or 3 years old. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to wait around for Mr. Right. That can happen later. And I wasn't a spring chicken at the time. I wanted to be a dad, I think, when I was in my 30s, but that didn't happen. I think just trust yourself and know that if you would potentially be looking for love, that can absolutely come later. So.
Oh, that's great advice. We certainly know a lot of people, the same thing has happened as well. Question, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges folks might face during a surrogacy process? And then how does NewGen specifically help these people navigate through the challenges?
Yeah, oh, that's a good question. Look, I think first of all, obviously, trust is such a big factor in this equation. There's six key services of a surrogacy journey. You've got the agency, you've got the clinic, you've got attorneys, you've got escrow and financial management, you've got insurances, you've got mental health. And there's just so many people that you're placing your trust in. And so, as you go through the various milestones, there are multiple challenges that you can face. You can have a delay in surrogate matching. You can have, an embryo transfer fail. You can, God forbid, have a miscarriage.
Right.
There are multiple problems that you can face in a surrogacy journey. And I think that the way as an agency we navigate that, one thing that we've sort of made a blanket rule here at NewGen, one of the key relationships I think is your case manager. And that's a real key relationship that you're going to have. This is the person responsible for communicating all of the updates and absolutely being that support person for you if you do face these challenges. So what we've done, we make a blanket rule that that role, you need to have worked 6 years for another agency.
Oh, wow.
Not 6 years experience, but 6 years minimum for another agency to ensure that that's the most stable relationship that you want with your agency, that key sort of position as the case managers and journey managers. And we, every Friday, my staff have been instructed, send out an email to every single person that you're on a journey with, the intended parents and the surrogates, to say, even if you might not have an appointment or something coming up in the next 4 or 5 weeks, we need to just let them know that we are always there for them and we're going to support for them. And that's really what we can do, because as the agency, we're not really decision makers. We're like the glue to the journey. We tie everything together. We're there from the beginning to end and beyond. And we call it like the fourth trimester care as well, once they
Yeah.
return safely with their babies. But, we're responsible for, for really tying everything together. And the other key services will absolutely be present as you navigate through the various milestones at certain points. But I think we're really the only ones that are there on a daily basis, for our surrogates and our intended parents.
It's great. And I have to tell you, GWK Academy, I agree with you. I think I like to make sure everyone who's going through a surrogacy journey is educated on the most common things that can go wrong. I
Yeah,
think if they know about that up front,
absolutely.
and you've seen other people, like we share stories of others who've gone through those challenges
Mm,
and what they've done to get through them, I think that helps. So we are completely simpatico there. All right,
yeah.
Dave, I'm looking back at
Mm.
all you've accomplished already with NewGen Families. What would you say are some of your proudest achievements or accomplishments?
Ooh. Um, I think I'm most proud initially of establishing a really good core team, because it was tough. There was a lot of staff turnover in that first year, and really just finding that core team. And we've done it now. We've really achieved that, and I'm sure that my staff are happy. Oh, they appear to be happy, and I think that's probably my proudest moment is that now we're not having the staff turnover, that the core group that we have now.
That's great.
But I think of course, having that first baby, that number one baby, which is now well over a year ago. And also the surrogates are now coming back. And I think that's a testament to the company as well. We're getting a lot of our surrogates now that are returning for a second journey and are becoming repeat surrogates. So that's also a proud moment. But I think
Absolutely.
it's just the relationships and the community. I think the community as well. We do have a large community, and we introduce our intended parents in Facebook groups to the others, so that they've got that support group. I go back to Australia for 6 weeks in summer, and we have a Christmas party in Melbourne and a Christmas party in Sydney at the Opera Bar. And I think that's I remember having this vision when I started the company, that I can't wait to go to like Taronga Zoo in Sydney and have all these like new gen babies running around, and that's what we're building. And so I'm excited this year to return back home to see all the Aussie babies. Yeah, yeah.
That's great. Well, congratulations to everything that you've done so far,
Oh,
all that
thank
you've
you so
accomplished.
much.
And it is though all about relationships. And
Absolutely.
you came highly recommended by some of the clinics and doctors that we've already been working with, and
Mm,
I've known for a long time.
yeah,
So we're certainly excited to have you guys on board.
yeah.
Um,
And I
so
just want to just pipe in, and I just want to say that when I came here, what I love about America is they'll give you a go. Like I feel like as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, I'm a hustler, and if back home, if I knocked on 15 doors, maybe one would open. And when I lived in Europe, it was the same. You're really constantly knocking on doors and trying to sell yourself. And I was just so overwhelmed with the positive response that I knocked on plenty of doors. I went straight to the top, the best reproductive endocrinologists, the best attorneys, and sort of pitched myself and said, "Will you give me a go?" And they were all like, everyone was like, "Yes, we'll give you a go." But of course, you have to back that up. And I think that was
right.
the real challenge then. I was like, "Damn, here, everyone has said yes. Now I've got to put my money where my mouth is and build,
Yes.
a really beautiful company." And so I'm so grateful to all of the service providers that gave me a go, because we're still here today, and I think we're doing wonderful things. We have births every other week and transfers every month, and it's a really good time. And we're just about to rebrand. We've got our rebrand launch, which we can go
Oh,
into next time we have a chat. But it's
okay,
been 10
good.
months in the making, and we're getting there. But yeah, and and thanks to you as well. And it's with these amazing collaborations and these amazing partners that we're building. I think what is a great surrogacy agency.
Awesome. All right. Well, congratulations. It's always great to see you.
You
Thanks for those
too,
of
my
you who are
friend.
watching, and we'll be in
Thank you so
touch.
much. All
All
right,
right. Take
bye,
care.
Brian. Thank you. Love
Bye.
to the team.
Thank
Bye,
you.
bye.